Assalamu alaikum, boys and girls. Welcome to Storytime, and I'm Sofiyya. Today, we are going to learn about two very special prophets. Well, then again, all of the prophets were very, very special. But today we will be learning about Prophet Ayub and Prophet Yunus. While most prophets who came before were not rich, Prophet Ayub alayhi salam was. And while most prophets were strong and healthy, while the disbelievers suffered, Prophet Ayub's life was a bit opposite. The story of Prophet Ayub in the Quran shows us more about the blessings of Allah to his believing slaves who remain patient and thankful. Prophet Ayub had many animals, flocks and fields, together with many fine sons. He was happy and proud of all of his sons. He loved them dearly. Ayub had everything he could ask for. He was rich, house, land, you name it. What are some of the things you wish you had more of, boys and girls? More toy cars, more dolls, a cell phone, or an iPad? You name it. He had it back then. Well, no, I don't mean that he had an iPad back then. I'm talking many, many, many years ago in the days of prophets. But he had plenty. Now, we've heard about many rich and powerful men before, kings and businessmen, but Ayub was different. Ayub was humble. He was forever grateful to Allah. That is why Allah continued to bless him. That's the thing. When you thank Allah for everything, He will continue to give you plenty. But you don't just thank Allah for toys and food. You thank Him for what you don't see. Did you thank Allah for getting you home safe from school today? Did you thank Allah for waking you up with good health this morning? Do you thank Allah for letting you breathe and having your heart beat each night before bed? This is a never-ending list of things we should be grateful for, boys and girls, including our parents, our home, this beautiful country, the beaches, the clean air, everything, even the bad. Because not only could it be worse and Allah protected you from it, but also because we should be grateful that Allah saw us through a test. Allah had faith that we would get through it, and we did. Alhamdulillah. Prophet Ayub thanked Allah for everything, just as we should. We should learn from Prophet Ayub and his story. One day, Prophet Ayub was put to the test and lost everything that he owned and loved. Back then, in the time of Prophet Ayub, the shaitan was not barred from the heavens where Allah sits on his throne. Shaitan used to travel up to Allah, and one day he saw all of the gratitude, thankfulness from Ayub on Allah's screens. Allah records our good and bad deeds. Now, when Shaitan saw all of the good deeds and all that Ayub gave thanks to Allah for, he got very, very jealous. His heart set on fire with jealousy. Shaitan said to Allah, Ayub is so thankful to you because you have given him endless gifts, endless bounties and blessings in huge amounts. But if you take the bounties away, he would not remain thankful. If you allow me to control his fortunes, you will realize how thankless he can become. See, Shaitan thought that Ayub was only grateful because he had many material things to be grateful for. He thought if Ayub no longer had his nice land and home and animals, he would be rude and unhappy. He wouldn't love Allah as much. He said that Ayub wouldn't be grateful. Instead, he would be ungrateful. And Shaitan was going to prove this to Allah. The Almighty Allah granted Shaitan the privilege to control the wealth and children of Ayub. Why would Allah do this? Allah must have had some great reasons. We'll see. Shaitan was overjoyed, and at once he rushed to the earth with wickedness. He began to destroy the wealth and children of Ayub. He destroyed everything that Ayub loved. But the more he proceeded to destroy, the thank you and the gratitude of Ayub intensified. Shaitan grew more upset. How could this be? Ayub was supposed to be upset and ungrateful. Ayub was supposed to be unhappy and angry. Shaitan did not plan on this. This was not supposed to happen. Now the Shaitan went back to Allah and requested power over the crops owned by Ayub. This means he wanted to destroy the fruits and vegetables grown in Ayub's gardens. This was also granted by Allah. So Shaitan got his assistants ready and landed on the fields of Ayub. They spewed out a venomous breath, and all the crops withered away. Oh, but much to Shaitan's dismay, Ayub grew even more grateful. He prayed even more to Allah. See, Ayub knew this was a test, and Ayub knew that Allah only tests the believers. Allah gives us tests because He wants to see us do well. He wants to see how much we will love Him and how much faith we have in Him. Ayub wanted Allah to help him and for Allah to see that he really truly did believe in Allah, whether Allah gave him riches or not. He knew that all that he had owned and all that he loved was from Allah. Allah had blessed him before. Allah could take it away, or Allah could bless him with more. Ayub was just grateful to be alive and have Allah by his side. Shaitan started to get more and more frustrated. This was not supposed to happen. Shaitan now demanded control over the goats and sheep that Ayub owned. And when Allah granted it, He killed them all. Ayub became more sincere and thanked Allah frequently. Shaitan told Allah, Ayub was yet thankful because he knows you would return the bounty soon. And he prayed desperately to the Almighty. Now Shaitan was on his last straw. He requested Allah to grant him complete power over the body of Ayub. Allah told him, you were given power over Ayub's body except power of his reasoning, the power of his heart, his eyes, his ears, and his tongue. That was all he needed to worship Allah. You see, boys and girls, you don't need your hands and you don't need your feet to worship Allah. Just your heart, your mind, your eyes, your ears, your tongue. All Allah has blessed us with. When Shaitan received the permission, he darted back down to earth as he feared that if the divine mercy surrounds Ayub, it would be an obstacle in his way. So he came to Ayub, and now he blew a venomous breath into his nostrils. As a result, Ayub was inflicted with severe, severe illness that covered his whole body with sores and wounds. But somehow, despite deep sickness, fever, and pain, Prophet Ayub continued to praise and thank Allah. We must always remember that, boys and girls. Never hesitate to think of Allah. Prophet Ayub was so sick that the wounds on his body began to smell. The wounds were infected and it spread all over his body. I don't even want to imagine such a sight, such a feeling, such a smell. How dreadful. Now the pain and the smell was so bad that the people of the village could not take it any longer. They disowned him and they banished him to a dirty corner of town. His wife, Rahma, the daughter of Prophet Yusuf, went out to beg for him and got him whatever she could obtain to keep him alive. If it was a small piece of bread, a small cup of water. MashaAllah, she tried her best to take care of her husband, but Shaitan kept abusing him. Shaitan had a point to prove, but he was losing. Even after years of pain and poverty, when Ayub lost his sons, his crops, his animals, even after losing his own health and suffering, Ayub only grew closer to Allah. Ayub knew the only way to survive and the only way to prosper was by going to Allah. And so he did, more and more each day. He did not complain or grumble. He just prayed and thanked Allah for the little things. Thank you for waking me up today, Allah. Thank you for opening my eyes. Shaitan had one last trick up his sleeve. Shaitan went to the group of Ayub's followers, the people that had accepted Islam and believed in Allah. They were residing alone in the mountains. They were people who preferred not to see others. They preferred to keep to themselves rather than interact with the non-believers in the village who would cheat people and lived in sin. Shaitan told them, Come, let us go and see why Ayub has been inflicted with such pain and loss. So the people came down, mounted their horses, and headed towards Ayub. When they came near, the horses were terrified of that horrible smell and bolted out of control. The riders tried to tie the horses on the far corners of the area and proceeded on foot. They came to Ayub and they asked him about his conditions. One of the young men, also accompanying them, sat down near Ayub and said, If you tell us of this deadly sin you have committed, we can protect ourselves from it. We do not want Allah to punish us the way He has punished you. We never expected you to suffer from penalties that did not hurt anyone else. It must be due to a sin that you have hidden from us. They figure there must be some reason he was going through these bad times. They knew about punishment, but not tests. They had heard about people in the past who were punished for sin, so they wondered, well, what sin could their wonderful prophet have done to get such horrible punishment? They always thought he was humble and pure. Was he hiding something? Did he have secrets? A secret life, perhaps? Kind of like Batman? Well, not really, because Batman does good with his secret life. Ayub said, I swear by the might of my Lord,